The air was thick with the scent of garlic butter and laughter when my phone vibrated against my thigh. I almost ignored it. Who calls during Emily's birthday bash? But something about seeing Dad flash across the screen made my stomach twist. He never interrupted family time. "Hey, Dad," I said, balancing a slice of red velvet cake in one hand. His voice was a blade. "Where are you right now?" I glanced at the chaos. Uncle Dave doing his infamous salsa moves, little Sophie smearing frosting on the dog. "At the Harrisons," I answered. "Everyone's here." The line went silent for a heartbeat. Then, "Take Lily. Leave. Now." No explanation, just a tone that turned my blood to ice. I didn't question it. I scooped up my daughter, mid-giggle, her tiny hands sticky with candy. "Daddy adventure?" she cheered, as I bolted past Emily, who frowned, holding a sparkler-crowned cake. "The surprise is in 5 minutes," she called. I kept moving. The second the car door shut, I called Dad back. His whisper was frantic. "Drive to the Walmart parking lot. Don't stop anywhere familiar." In the rearview mirror, Lily kicked her feet oblivious. "What the hell's going on?" I hissed. His next words dropped like bricks. "The Harrisons aren't who you think. The FBI's about to raid that house." The cake in my gut turned to lead. "M's involved. Her name's on shell companies. Offshore accounts, they'll take you down too." A cop car screamed past us, then lights blazing toward the house we'd just fled. Lily gasped, "Wow, fireworks." I gripped the wheel until my fingers ached. That's when I noticed the duffel bag Emily had forgotten in my trunk last week, unzipped, spilling bundles of cash, and a burner phone blinking with unread messages. Dad's truck idled beside mine, the engine growling like a guard dog. I moved my car as he'd instructed, parking directly under the buzzing halo of the gas station's security lights. Lily was already dozing in his back seat, her curls matted with frosting, oblivious to the storm brewing around her. Dad leaned against my hood, his reflection fractured in the windshield. "They weren't just celebrating tonight," he said, voice low. "They were erasing evidence." My stomach lurched. All those business trips, Emily took the late-night hushed calls she'd dismiss as book club drama. Suddenly the puzzle pieces clicked into a horrifying picture. Then came the twist I never saw coming. Dad pulled out his phone, swiped to a grainy surveillance photo, and thrust it toward me. Recognize him. The man in the image wore a baseball cap, but the tattoo snaking up his forearm was unmistakable. A twisted serpent I'd last seen at my father-in-law's fishing cabin. "That's Marco Salazar, cartel accountant, and he's been staying in your guest house for weeks." The world tilted. That handyman, Emily insisted, was fixing the deck, the one who'd smiled at Lily over pancakes. A text buzzed in my pocket, "Emily, where are you?" The candles are melting, followed by a heart emoji. The casualness of it made my skin crawl. Dad saw my expression and gripped my shoulder. "Check your glove compartment." Inside, beneath the manual, lay a folded property deed, a cabin in my name, purchased last month with funds I'd never authorized. "They're framing you as the mastermind," Dad hissed. Just then, the gas station's TV flickered to a news alert: FBI raids, prominent Harrison family estate in money laundering probe. The footage showed agents hauling out boxes and Emily in cuffs, her birthday dress, glaringly bright under the flashing lights. But what stopped my breath was the reporter's next words. "Authorities are seeking the husband considered armed and dangerous." The pump nozzle clattered to the ground as Dad shoved keys into my hand. "Take my truck. There's $5K cash hidden under the spare tire. Don't use your phone. Don't contact anyone, not even me. His eyes darted to the highway, where distant sirens wailed. Go now, as I peeled onto the interstate. Lily stirring in the back, one thought clawed at me. The duffel bag of cash in my trunk wasn't just evidence. It was a setup. And the burner phone. It started ringing. The glow of the gas station lights made the headlines on Dad's phone look even more surreal. Harrison's arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. Son-in-law wanted for questioning. My face was already plastered beneath the words, a grainy photo from last year's company picnic. I barely recognized the smiling man in that picture. Dad's voice was gravel. They've frozen your accounts. Your face is on every screen in the state. He shoved a burner phone into my hand. Only use this to call the number I programmed in. It's untraceable. I glanced at Lily, now curled under his jacket in the back seat, her thumb in her mouth, a habit she'd quit at 3. The sight cracked something open in my chest. Then came the gut punch. The burner vibrated with an incoming video. An unknown number. Against every warning screaming in my head, I answered. The screen showed Emily in what looked like an interrogation room, her mascara smudged, but her voice eerily steady. Babe, listen. They're forcing me to lie. They threatened to take Lily if I didn't cooperate. A cop's shadow moved behind her. There's a safe at the lake house. Combination 12, 24, 36. It has proof you're clean. The feed cut abruptly. Dad snatched the phone. That was a trap. The feds are tracking this call right now. Tires screeched outside. 2 black SUVs skidded into the lot, blocking the exits. We moved on instinct. Dad yanked Lily into his arms, while I dove for the driver's seat, gunning the engine as agents spilled out shouting. The truck fishtailed onto the service road, but not before I saw one agent raise his phone. Not a gun to snap a photo of my license plate. A chill shot through me. They wanted me to run. As we vanished into back roads, Dad pulled up a live news feed. The reporter's voice was electric. Breaking, the FBI confirms the husband is now a fugitive, possibly armed. Neighbors report hearing gunfire at the Harrison residence prior to the raid. Sake, gunfire. I nearly swerved off the road. That's impossible. We left before. Dad's grip on my arm was steel. They planted evidence, son. And now they've planted witnesses. The cabin deed in the glove compartment. The duffel of cash. The gunfight that never happened. The pieces assembled into a nightmare. Even I couldn't have scripted. I wasn't just the fall guy. I was the patsy who'd fled the scene, the desperate father who'd opened fire. By sunrise, every cop in 3 states would be hunting me with shoot-to-kill orders. Lily whimpered in her sleep. I met Dad's eyes in the rearview mirror and saw the unspoken truth. We couldn't run forever, but to stop running meant walking into a framed job so airtight, the only place I'd ever see my daughter again would be through prison glass. Then the radio crackled to life, not with music, but with a police bulletin repeating my name, my description, and a single damning phrase. Approach with extreme caution. The road ahead was dark. The burner phone rang again. The morning sun streamed through Harris's office blinds, striping the damning paperwork like prison bars. I flipped to the last page of the Hayes setup folder and froze. There, stapled to a falsified tax return, was a photo of me entering a storage unit I'd never seen before. The timestamp last Thursday, when I'd been chaperoning Lily's field trip to the aquarium. Harris caught my expression. They weren't just framing you. They were documenting the frame. He pulled up security footage on his laptop. The man in the grainy video wore my exact jacket, my build, even my gait. But the way he paused to check his watch, the nervous tick I didn't have, betrayed the imposter. Professional doppelgänger, Harris muttered. Your in-laws hired him to plant evidence at that storage facility. ATF raided it an hour ago. My hands shook. This went beyond forged papers. They'd constructed an entire alternate version of me. Then came the twist that changed everything. As Harris scrolled through the footage, a familiar face flashed in the corner of the screen. Emily's brother Jake handing the imposter an envelope. But it wasn't money inside. It was a custody modification form, pre-signed by a judge, whose name made Harris whistle low. Judge Wilkes. She's been on their payroll for years. The date on the form was tomorrow. My blood turned to ice. They weren't just setting me up for prison. They were ensuring I'd lose Lily forever. I stood so fast, my chair toppled. We need to move faster. By noon, we'd executed the fourth step, one Harris called the kitchen sink. I handed over every text, every voicemail, even security footage from our home cameras, showing Emily whispering with her father about the exit strategy. But the killing blow came from an unexpected ally, our nanny Maria, who'd secretly recorded Emily coaching Lily to say, "Daddy's secret office," when asked about the storage unit. The fifth step was theater. We leaked the nanny's recording to a reporter friend who aired it alongside my tearful interview about parental alienation. The public tide turned instantly. By 3 p.m., Justice for Hayes was trending, and Emily's smug mugshot memes flooded social media. But the real masterstroke came at dusk. Harris's team had traced the imposter to a motel outside Reno. When authorities knocked, they didn't just find the man who'd played me. They found Emily's burner phone logged into my iCloud, syncing fabricated, incriminating photos to my account in real time. The final nail in her coffin. As I tucked Lily into bed that night, her small arms clung to me. "Is Mommy in timeout?" she whispered. I kissed her forehead, my voice steady, for the first time in days. "Yes, baby. And Daddy just made sure she can't hurt us ever again." Downstairs, the TV murmured the latest update. In a shocking turn, federal prosecutors have dropped all charges against Michael Hayes and are now pursuing criminal conspiracy charges against his wife and her family. The burner phone rang. I knew who it was before I answered. Emily's scream was raw with rage. "You'll pay for this." I smiled. "Already did, sweetheart," with 12 years of blind trust. Then I hung up and dropped the phone into a glass of water, watching the bubbles rise like the last gasp of a sinking ship. The parking lot asphalt radiated heat as I clicked my car, unlocked Emily's stricken face, still burning in my periphery. She lunged forward, then her designer heels catching on the curb. "Wait, Lily's trust fund." Her voice cracked. "They'll seize it too, unless you—" I turned, slowly. "You mean the one you drained last month to pay your brother's bail?" Her flinch told me everything. Harris had warned me about the withdrawal. But seeing her reaction, that was the knife twist I needed. "Don't worry," I said, smiling for the first time. "I opened a new one, in my name only, with a little help from your father's offshore passwords." The color drained from her face. I savored it. The final blow came at her sentencing hearing. Just as the judge lifted her gavel, my attorney entered new evidence, a voicemail Emily had left me weeks earlier, accidentally admitting she knew about the forged documents. The clunk of that gavel was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. But the real victory came later. At a diner off Route 9 over pancakes with Lily, my phone buzzed with an alert: Harrison family assets officially seized. Attached was a photo of Emily's pearl necklace, the one she'd flaunted at Lily's birthday. now tagged as evidence in a federal locker. Lily smeared syrup on her nose. "Daddy, why are you smiling?" I wiped her cheek with my thumb. "Because today's the first day of our real-life kiddo." Outside the window, the sun glared off a news van racing toward the courthouse. Let them chase the story. We were already gone. The burner phone rang once more in the trash can by the door. Neither of us looked back. The autumn leaves crunched underfoot as Lily chased squirrels through the park, her laughter cutting through the crisp air. I watched from the bench, scrolling past the latest headline on my phone. Disgraced socialite Emily Harrison denied appeal restitution. Payments increased. A notification buzzed beneath it, an alert from the private investigator I'd kept on retainer. Attached was a grainy photo of Emily hauling boxes into a storage unit. The unit number matched one owned by her brother. Harris's voice crackled through my Bluetooth earpiece. "You seeing this? She's stashing assets again." I smirked. "Forward it to the DA's office. Let them handle it." I was done playing her games. That night, over hot chocolate, Lily doodled in her sketchbook, while Christmas lights twinkled outside. "Dad," she said suddenly, "will Mom ever come back?" The question didn't sting like it used to. I tucked a loose curl behind her ear. "Not the way she was, kiddo. But that's okay. We've got everything we need right here." She nodded, then flipped to a new page and started drawing our golden retriever, her brow furrowed in concentration. No more whispered questions about grown-up fights. No more flinching at slamming doors. The final twist came on New Year's Eve. An envelope arrived, no return address. Inside was a key and a scribbled note, storage locker 214. "Your wedding album. Thought you might want it." The irony was almost poetic. The album she'd once used to prove our perfect marriage to the press now sat in the same unit where she'd hidden stolen paintings. I dropped the key into the fireplace, watching the metal warp in the flames. Some memories weren't worth keeping. As the clock struck midnight, Lily asleep upstairs, I toasted my reflection in the window. Not to revenge, to silence, to mornings without dread, to a life where the only surprises were the good kind, like finding an extra cookie in the jar, or spotting Lily's latest masterpiece taped to the fridge. The TV murmured in the background, the news cycle already moving on to fresh scandals. Emily's name flashed once more, a blip in the ticker at the bottom of the screen, before vanishing into the night. The amber glow of sunset painted the porch in warm hues as steam curled from our mugs. Dad nudged a manila folder toward me, with his elbow inside Lily's latest report card, all A's, and a crayon drawing titled "My Hero," with 2 stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. "Remember that night?" Dad said, suddenly, nodding toward the old Volvo in the driveway, the same car I'd fled in over a year ago. "You didn't just save yourself that night. You broke the cycle." The unspoken weight hung between us. "She'll never do to Lily what was done to you." I sipped my coffee, bitter and strong. The YouTube outro script I'd drafted earlier still glowed on my laptop nearby. Was this revenge justified? But the answer was in the squeak of Lily's swing set, in the quiet hum of a home no longer haunted. A notification popped up. Emily's latest restitution payment had cleared. The number barely registered now. The real currency was the way Lily's eyes crinkled when she laughed, now unafraid. Dad clinked his mug against mine. "To the quiet life." As fireflies flickered to life beyond the porch, I finally closed the laptop. Some stories don't need a moral. Some victories are measured in silence. The screen went dark, but out in the yard, under a sky streaked with gold, our story was just beginning.